Namaste and welcome to our channel Shubh and Temple. Today we are going to talk about the family dynamic. We have been talking about toxic relationships. We've been talking about tips on how to create healthy relationships, but the one thing that I have not addressed so far is the toxic family relationship. Are you in a family that feels toxic? Do you feel like you are in some kind of family drama? So that's what we are going to talk about today. And before we get started, I invite you to please subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell to be alerted when we post the next video. So as we get started on today's topic, I want to let you know I have created a series of videos so far revolving around toxic or traumatic relationships. So be sure to check those out, and I will put the links in the description for you to view those as well. Also, I want to let you know that this is a conversation, a discussion, and I welcome and encourage you to please comment and feel free to expand upon anything that I'm talking about here. You can agree, disagree, perhaps share a little bit more information, something that you think would be worthwhile to address as well. And also, I invite you to recommend any topic suggestions, because most of my YouTube videos I get from you guys sending me messages or commenting on some of these very important, I think, universal issues that we all tend to be involved in some way, shape, or form. So the first thing that I want to talk about is, how do you recognize that you are involved in some type of family drama, trauma, some type of toxic pattern? Well, the interesting thing is sometimes I think we don't really pay attention to what's happening within our own families, because in the family dynamic, we tend to be very attached to each other. This is our family of origin. This is where we've grown up. Sometimes things happen so subtly and we become so desensitized that sometimes we just cut off the connection with our own emotions, and sometimes it becomes very difficult to speak for ourselves and feel safe within the family. And in many of our sessions and contacts with clients or people messaging us, one thing that I think we need to give more attention to is what is happening within the own family, and is that relationship healthy, and how is it affecting all of the other relationships in our life. And I want to start just by saying that at the root, every relationship in our life begins and ends with us. Okay, so as we go through this video and we continue the conversation, I'm going to continually circle back around to the place of empowerment is always ourself. And the reason that I say that is because it's tempting to be triggered by other people's behavior. It's tempting, very tempting, to blame other people for their behavior. But we have to remember that in every situation, we are learning to get clear on how we want to be treated. You know, there's a famous saying that we teach other people how we want or how we deserve, how we feel we deserve to be treated just by putting up with it. And I think sometimes because we are in a family, we think because this is our father, mother, brother, sister, because they're our blood relation, that we have to just put up with whatever it is because we love them. But the thing is that we need to get clear in our own self-worth so that we can create a positive dynamic. Okay? So what are some of the clues that let us know that we are involved in an unhealthy family drama or a traumatic experience? Well, for one thing, when you go to meet your family, your extended family, or just particular members of your family, pay attention. Do you feel excited to see them? Do you feel mixed emotions about seeing them? Or do you just feel outright anxious to see them? Okay? So I want you to just take a quick inventory as we're talking through this and just check in with yourself and see how much of what I'm saying actually fits you and the situation that you're in. Now, the other thing that I want to mention that's fairly common in these toxic family dramas, and that is there's a blame game going on somewhere. Either someone is blaming you for something, for maybe something that didn't happen in their life and they want to make you feel like it's your fault. There could be a lot of gaslighting going on and arguing back and forth about what was said, what a reality was. You could be involved in different arguments or conversations about exactly what truly happened. And that becomes a sticking point and a point of contention. The other thing is there a lot of criticism that's happening? Do you feel like you are having to explain yourself a lot? Do you feel like you're just generally not being respected and you feel like a boundary is being crossed? So coming back to this place of every relationship begins and ends with you, I think that the beginning place is to create boundaries and realize the boundaries are not for them to adhere to. The boundaries are for you to know what is okay and what is not okay. Of course, you can let your family know where your boundary is, but if you're going to state the boundaries, be sure to accept ownership of what you're saying. You don't want to set a boundary stating something about them, like you have to do this if you want me to be in your life. It should always be ownership of I. Like for example, instead of saying you always start an argument with me, I'm feeling like you're always criticizing, you're always blaming me, you can just simply say, it's very important for my own mental and emotional health that I put myself in an atmosphere that feels very uplifting, supporting, and encouraging. So do you see, by making that statement, there's no blame that's going on, but you're simply stating how you are feeling and you are accepting ownership of what is happening. And because if you try to state a boundary and it's all about that they have to do something to earn your attention, you're really just going to dig the hole deeper than what it is already, because they're going to get offended and it's just going to continue with this really toxic dynamic there. So thinking about when we're in the middle of the situation, a lot of times we tend to just react. We have these knee-jerk reactions, responses. So the other thing that I think is really important is when you are in the midst of something, before you engage with your family, let's say you're in a mixed situation. Let's say you're not feeling outright anxious to be there, but there are going to be some family members that are going to be present, and they like to mix it up a little bit. So you're feeling a little bit guarded. That there's going to be different kind of energies there. So the thing is setting yourself into a place where you can protect your own energy. And if someone is there that is in the past has triggered you, or is treating you in ways that you don't particularly enjoy, just put some space there. Just set the intention that today I'm going to observe everything that's happening. And when these things come up, because more often than not, in the sessions with our students, people report that it tends to be these scenarios and they're repetitive in nature. So it could be the same kind of thing, and it's even been going on for years, okay? So the thing is get yourself out ahead of it. You're already aware that it's going to happen. So just set the intention that today I'm just going to observe. I'm not going to react. I'm just going to observe, and I'm going to respond in ways that feel good to me. And I want to keep the love there if possible. My intention is to keep this loving energy there if possible. And I think that would really help a lot, because unfortunately, sometimes we have to make a decision of how much of my energy is going to be healthy for me to put into this relationship right here and now. And the other thing is, many people that have been involved in these family dynamics, there's a back and forth, and it's been going on for years. So when we decide we're going to take back our power and we are going to set these boundaries, we have to be the ones responsible for enforcing it. So sometimes that involves making decisions like, I'm just not going to respond. I feel like someone is trying to drag me into an argument, or so I'm just not going to respond. Or you are going to respond. A response, you want to speak the truth in love. You're going to speak in a balanced way, that you are, in essence, you are loving yourself by stating what is real and true for you, whether or not they see it or not. And you're able to speak it in a place where you're holding space. There's love in that space. But you're also not allowing somebody to just walk over you and feel like they're just crushing your spirit. So if you're able to hold that space and you're able to speak up for yourself without becoming angry, by all means, or feeling like you're brought into an argument, then more power to you, do it. But realize that the biggest goal is to protect your own energy and protect your own inner peace. Your inner peace is the most valuable possession that you have. And you can make the decision, you can fully love every single person in your family. But you can also decide that in this moment, it's just not healthy for me right now to be involved in what's happening. And I'm going to have to take my space. So if it requires that, then take your space. And more often than not, your family as a whole, or a particular family member, they're gonna get it. If you just stop engaging into certain types of conversations, after a while they're gonna get it. And they're going to make a choice, because you cannot fix or change anyone. Is it possible to change? Absolutely. It is absolutely possible to change, but you can't force someone to change. So just by you managing your own energy, and they're going to become very aware of what the boundary is. Okay, you don't have to check them in any way. Just by you putting space there, they're going to understand really fast that if they truly do want to have you in their life, then they need to maybe examine themselves, do some inner work, and figure out what exactly is happening. Because you are managing your part of the relationship. You are giving them respect. These are the things you're responsible for. Speaking lovingly, speaking truthfully, speaking honestly. You want to create and foster an atmosphere of harmony. You want to listen. Okay? So these are the things that you are responsible for, but you're not responsible for just doing what they want you to do just because they're your family member. You're not responsible for being their emotional support and a crutch for them in any type of way. And you're not responsible for their overall happiness. So even families, we need to appreciate each other. We need to speak well to each other. We need to be encouraging. We need to be uplifting. And all of that is very important to our collective growth and our individual growth. And we have that power. It's important to us that we take the power. And just because someone is our family member, our family, we don't need to put up with anything. And in fact, we can decide to be a positive change. We can decide to be a positive example. We can decide that no matter what's happening, that we are only going to speak things that are healing, to benefit other people, to prosper them, and to bless them. We always want to use our words to bless, to heal, and to prosper one another, not to tear down, not to criticize, and not to blame. And I think that hopefully you guys would all agree with me on that. So I think that I've covered everything here today. And like I said, I would love to know your thoughts on this. I would love to hear your comments, topic suggestions, and I'll remind you once again, please be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Click the notification bell to be alerted when I post the next video. And namaste.